Welcome back to the Retire Smarter series. I'm glad you're here because today's episode is one of the most requested topics I've ever covered, and honestly, one of the most personal. We're going to walk through a real-world retirement scenario, not a theoretical model, not a spreadsheet built by a professor who's never had to actually live off their savings. A real couple, real numbers, real decisions, and real consequences, both good and bad. Meet David and Carol. David retired at 62 with a $400,000 portfolio. Carol works part-time. They own their home. They have no debt. And today we're going to open up their entire monthly budget and show you exactly how they make it work and what they wish they had done differently. Now, I want to be upfront. David and Carol are a composite case study. Their numbers are drawn from real retirement scenarios and are representative of what many Americans face at 62. The goal here isn't to show you a perfect plan, it's to show you a realistic one you can actually learn from. So if you're approaching retirement, already in it, or just starting to plan, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Before we look at a single dollar of income or spending, you need to understand the starting conditions, because context is everything in retirement planning. The same $400,000 portfolio can be wildly different depending on the full picture surrounding it. Here's David and Carol's situation. David is 62, Carol is 60. Neither of them is collecting Social Security yet, and that is a very deliberate choice, which we'll come back to. David spent 30 years in project management. Carol worked as a school administrator and now consults part-time at about 20 hours per week. On the asset side, they have $400,000 in a diversified investment portfolio, roughly 60% equities, 40% bonds and income assets. They have $210,000 in home equity on a house they own outright, no mortgage. They have $28,000 in a liquid emergency fund. Carol's part-time consulting brings in roughly $1,800 per month net, and they have a small rental income stream of $600 per month from a basement apartment they converted years ago. What they do not have: no pension for David, no long-term care insurance yet, and they are in the 3-year Medicare gap. David won't qualify for Medicare until age 65, so healthcare is a significant out-of-pocket consideration for the next 3 years. The starting conditions are solid but not without risk. No mortgage is a massive advantage. The equity position provides growth potential but also sequence of returns exposure. And the healthcare gap is the single biggest wild card in years 1 through 3. Keep all of this in mind as we go through the numbers. Here is David and Carol's complete monthly income picture. 5 sources. Total monthly income, $4,350. Let's walk through each one. Source 1, portfolio withdrawals. They pull $200 per month from their investment portfolio. On a $400,000 portfolio, that is a 3.6% annual withdrawal rate, slightly above the conservative 3% we discussed in episode 2, but below the traditional 4% rule. This is their largest single income source and the one that carries the most long-term risk if not managed carefully. Source 2, Carol's part-time consulting. $1,800 per month net. This is arguably the most valuable income stream they have, not because of the dollar amount alone, but because every dollar Carol earns through consulting is a dollar they don't have to pull from the portfolio. It directly reduces their withdrawal rate and extends the life of their savings. Part-time work in early retirement is one of the most powerful financial tools available, and it's chronically underused. Source 3, dividend income from their portfolio. $350 per month. This comes from dividend-paying ETFs and individual positions inside their investment account. The key point here is that this income is generated without selling any shares. The portfolio produces cash naturally, which means the principal stays intact and continues compounding. Source 4, Roth IRA distributions. $400 per month. This money comes out completely tax-free. David did Roth conversions in his mid-50s when his income was lower, and those contributions and earnings are now available to him with zero tax impact. This is one of the cleanest income streams in retirement. No withholding, no tax bill in April, no effect on Social Security taxation thresholds. Source 5. Rental income. $600 per month from their basement apartment. After basic maintenance reserves, this is nearly pure cash flow. It required an upfront investment to convert the space, but it now generates passive income indefinitely. Total, $4,350 per month. Now let's see where it goes. This is the slide most people come to this video for, the actual budget. Let's go line by line. Housing, $680 per month. Since David and Carol own their home outright, this covers property taxes, homeowner's insurance, and a maintenance reserve. No mortgage payment is a game changer. It is the single biggest reason a $400K retirement is workable. If they still had a $500 mortgage payment, this entire plan falls apart. Healthcare, $920 per month. This is their largest single expense category, and it reflects the brutal reality of retiring before Medicare eligibility at 65. They are purchasing an ACA marketplace plan. At their income level, they qualify for some subsidy, but they are still paying significantly more than they will once Medicare kicks in at 65. This expense drops dramatically in year 3, and that reduction will give their budget meaningful breathing room. Food and groceries, $580 per month. This covers all grocery shopping and a modest dining out budget, roughly 2 or 3 restaurant meals per week. Not lavish, but not restrictive either. Transportation, $420 per month. They own 2 paid-off vehicles. This covers insurance, fuel, registration, and a maintenance reserve. They've budgeted conservatively here because one of the vehicles is aging and will need replacement within the next 2 to 3 years. Utilities and phone, $310 per month. This covers electricity, gas, internet, and 2 cell phone plans. They've already optimized this, switched to a budget wireless carrier, negotiated their internet rate, and installed a programmable thermostat. Small wins that add up. Personal, entertainment, and travel, $800 per month. This is their quality of life budget. Streaming services, hobbies, personal care, and a travel fund they contribute to monthly. They prioritize 2 trips per year, 1 longer trip and 1 shorter getaway. Travel is non-negotiable for them. It's the point of all this planning. Total monthly expenses, $3,710. Against income of $4,350. That leaves a monthly surplus of $640. That surplus goes straight into their cash reserve, building the buffer they rely on to avoid selling investments during down markets. Let's spend some extra time on healthcare because it deserves it. This is the issue that catches early retirees most off guard, and it's the one that has the most potential to derail an otherwise solid plan. David and Carol face a 3-year Medicare gap. David retires at 62. Medicare starts at 65. For 36 months, they are entirely responsible for their own health coverage. That is not a minor inconvenience. It is a significant financial exposure. Option 1 is COBRA continuation coverage from David's former employer. COBRA lets you stay on your employer's health plan for up to 18 months, but you pay the full premium, including the portion your employer used to cover. Typical COBRA costs run $600 to $800 per month for an individual and $400 to $2,000 for a family. It is comprehensive but expensive, and it only covers the first 18 of the 36 months they need. Option 2, and the one David and Carol are using, is ACA marketplace coverage. Because their income is moderate and carefully managed, they qualify for premium tax credits that reduce their monthly cost. The key insight here is that the ACA subsidy is income-based. By managing their taxable income carefully, through Roth distributions, capital gains harvesting, and strategic withdrawal timing, they keep their income in a range that maximizes their subsidy. This is not gaming the system. It's smart planning. Option 3 is an HSA bridge strategy. If you have a high-deductible health plan and a health savings account, you can use accumulated HSA funds to pay healthcare costs tax-free during this gap period. David spent years maxing out his HSA contributions specifically for this purpose. He has $34,000 in his HSA that he can deploy for premiums, deductibles, copays, and qualified medical expenses between 62 and 65. The lesson: if you plan to retire before 65, you must have a healthcare strategy in place before you hand in your resignation. This is not optional planning. It is mission critical. We covered the sequence of returns risk in depth in episode 2, but let me bring it back here in the context of David and Carol's actual situation. Because the first 5 years of retirement are the most financially dangerous years of your retirement, full stop. Here's why. If David's portfolio drops 30% in year 1 or year 2, which is entirely possible in a normal bear market, and he continues withdrawing $200 per month on top of that loss, his portfolio may never fully recover. The math is brutally unforgiving in the early years. David and Carol's defense is a 3-bucket strategy. Bucket 1 is cash. $32,000, approximately 2 years of portfolio withdrawals. This money sits in a high-yield savings account earning 4 to 5%. This is their spending buffer. If the market drops tomorrow, they pull from this bucket and leave the investment portfolio completely untouched. They never have to sell a single share at a loss because they panicked. Bucket 2 is income. $120,000, roughly 30% of the portfolio, in bonds, bond funds, CD, and income-producing assets. This bucket generates the dividends and interest that flow into the income column we saw on slide 3. It's designed to be stable and to refill bucket 1 over time. Bucket 3 is growth. $248,000, the remaining 62% of the portfolio in diversified equities, index funds, and rate. This is the long-term engine. It will fluctuate. It will have bad years. But because buckets 1 and 2 provide 4 to 5 years of spending coverage, David never has to touch this money during a downturn. He can let it recover, which history shows it always does, given enough time. The bucket strategy doesn't eliminate market risk. It eliminates the behavioral panic that turns paper losses into permanent ones. Here is where David and Carol's plan gets genuinely sophisticated, and where the difference between a good retirement and a great one often lies. Tax strategy in retirement is not a once-a-year activity. It is an ongoing, year-round discipline. 4 pillars of their tax approach. Pillar 1. Roth conversion ladder. In the years between retirement and age 73, when required minimum distributions kick in, David has a window to convert traditional IRA and 401(k) funds into his Roth account at lower tax rates. Their income is moderate right now. They're likely in the 12% or 22% bracket. By converting $15,000 to $20,000 per year during this window, they reduce the future RMD burden and move money into a tax-free vehicle. The cost today is modest. The benefit over 20 to 30 years is enormous. Pillar 2. ACA subsidy management. As we discussed, their ACA premium tax credit is income sensitive. They carefully manage which accounts they draw from each year to keep their modified adjusted gross income in the subsidy-eligible range. This alone saves them $3,000 to $6,000 per year in healthcare premiums. Pillar 3. Capital gains harvesting. At their income level, long-term capital gains may be taxed at 0%. Yes, 0%. By strategically realizing gains in low-income years, they capture appreciation tax-free and reset their cost basis. This is a powerful and completely legal strategy that most retirees never use because they don't know it exists. Pillar 4. IRMA avoidance. IRMA stands for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. It's a Medicare surcharge that kicks in when income exceeds certain thresholds, currently around $103,000 for individuals. By keeping income below these thresholds now and in future years, they avoid paying significantly higher Medicare Part B and Part D premiums. Combined tax savings from all four strategies, an estimated $4,200 to $7,800 per year. This is the most valuable slide in the deck, not because of what David and Carol got right, but because of what they got wrong. Learn from their mistakes so you don't have to make your own. Lesson 1. Build a bigger healthcare buffer before retiring. David knew healthcare would be expensive before 65. He just didn't fully anticipate how much the ACA premiums would increase year over year, or how a single unexpected medical event could spike out-of-pocket costs. His advice: budget at least 20 to 25% more than your best estimate for healthcare in the pre-Medicare years, and have a dedicated healthcare cash reserve on top of your regular emergency fund. Lesson 2. Start Roth conversions earlier. David began his Roth conversion ladder at 57. He wishes he had started at 52 or 53. The earlier you begin moving money from traditional to Roth during your peak earning wind-down years, the more you reduce your future RMD burden and the more tax-free growth you accumulate. If you're in your 50s and still working, start this conversation with a tax advisor now. Lesson 3. Plan for part-time income intentionally. Carol's consulting income has been the single biggest stabilizing force in their budget, but it happened somewhat organically. She maintained relationships with former colleagues, and one engagement led to another. David's advice: before you retire, identify 2 or 3 ways you could generate $500 to $2,000 per month doing work you actually enjoy. Build those bridges before you need them, not after. Lesson 4. Maximize catch-up contributions in the final working years. Between ages 50 and 62, David could have contributed an extra $7,500 per year in catch-up contributions to his 401(k). Over 12 years with average market returns, that represents a missed opportunity of $140,000 or more. If you're in your 50s and still earning, this is the highest leverage savings move available to you. Use it. Now let's make this personal. Because the question isn't whether David and Carol's plan works for them, it clearly does. The question is, does it work for you? Here are the 7 factors that make early retirement at 62 genuinely viable. 1. Your home is paid off or nearly paid off. Eliminating your largest fixed expense changes everything about the math. 2. You have multiple income sources beyond the portfolio: part-time work, rental income, dividends, a spouse's income. 3. Your monthly expenses are genuinely below $4,000. Be honest here, most people underestimate. 4. You have a funded healthcare strategy for the Medicare gap years. 5. You have delayed Social Security and have a plan to bridge the income until you claim. 6. Your portfolio is $350,000 or more and your annual withdrawal rate stays at or below 3.5%. 7. You have 12 or more months of cash reserves outside your investment portfolio. Now here are the 7 factors that make it genuinely risky. 1. You still carry a mortgage with 10 or more years remaining. 2. Your healthcare plan is vague. You're hoping the marketplace works out. 3. Your entire retirement hinges on one income source. 4. Your portfolio is under $300,000 and your expenses are above $3,500 per month. 5. You haven't modeled sequence of returns risk and don't have a bucket strategy. 6. You plan to claim Social Security at 62, permanently locking in a 25 to 30% reduction. 7. You have significant unresolved debt, car payments, credit cards, student loans. The verdict: retiring at 62 is possible, but it requires that the green column significantly outweighs the red. Be ruthlessly honest with yourself before making the leap. Based on David and Carol's experience, and the broader research on successful early retirement, 5 rules emerge that are non-negotiable. Rule 1. Stay flexible. Your retirement will not go exactly as planned. Markets will disappoint. Healthcare costs will surprise you. Life will happen. The retirees who thrive are the ones who built flexibility into their plan from the beginning: variable spending rules, multiple income streams, and the willingness to adjust when conditions change. Rule 2. Keep fixed costs aggressively low. The lower your mandatory monthly expenses, the more resilience you have. Every dollar you remove from fixed costs is a dollar of breathing room when income dips or markets fall. Eliminate debt before retiring. Downsize if it makes sense. This is the foundation everything else rests on. Rule 3. Bridge income is your best friend. Part-time work, consulting, rental income, dividends, any income that does not come from selling portfolio shares is precious in the early retirement years. It reduces your withdrawal rate, extends your portfolio life, and keeps you engaged and purposeful. Don't retire from all work. Retire from the work you don't want to do. Rule 4. Delay Social Security as long as possible. Every year you delay past 62 increases your benefit by 6 to 8%. Waiting from 62 to 70 produces 76% more monthly income for life. And that income comes with annual cost of living adjustments. If you can bridge your income another way for even a few years, the math almost always favors delaying. Rule 5. Stay invested in growth assets. The single biggest mistake early retirees make is becoming too conservative too soon. Moving entirely to bonds and cash feels safe but exposes you to the slow, silent devastation of inflation. You need growth assets for a 25 to 30-year retirement. Keep 40 to 60% in equities even well into your 70s. Before we close out, here is your practical 8-point readiness checklist. These are not nice-to-haves. These are the minimum conditions for a confident early retirement decision. 1. Calculate your real monthly expenses, not an estimate, not a rough number. 12 months of actual spending data. Know exactly what your life costs. 2. Determine your income gap. Subtract guaranteed income, Social Security eventually, pension if applicable, rental income, part-time work from your monthly expenses. The gap is what your portfolio must cover. 3. Verify your withdrawal rate. Divide your annual gap by your portfolio value. If the result is above 4%, you need to either reduce expenses, increase income, or both. 4. Stress test your portfolio. Run your numbers through a sequence of return scenario where the market drops 30% in year 1. Does your plan survive? If not, you need more cash reserves or a lower withdrawal rate. 5. Confirm your healthcare plan, not in concept, in writing. Know your monthly premium, your deductible, your maximum out-of-pocket, and how your strategy changes when you reach Medicare eligibility. 6. Model your Social Security options. Use the SSA Gov calculator to compare your benefit at 62, 67, and 70. Understand the break-even age. Make this decision with full information. 7. Set up your bucket strategy. Before you retire, explicitly designate your cash bucket, your income bucket, and your growth bucket. Know how much is in each and how they interact. 8. Talk to a fee-only fiduciary advisor, not a commission-based broker. A fiduciary, someone legally required to act in your best interest. A one-time comprehensive retirement plan review is one of the best investments you can make before making the retirement decision. That is the complete picture of how David and Carol retired at 62 with $400,000 and make it work month after month. Let me give you a quick recap of everything we covered today. We looked at their full starting conditions: $400K portfolio, $210K home equity, no debt. We walked through their 5 income sources totaling $350 per month. We broke down their actual monthly budget of $710, leaving a $640 surplus. We tackled the healthcare challenge head-on and discussed the 3-year Medicare gap strategy. We walked through their bucket strategy for sequence of returns protection. We covered their four-pillar tax strategy that saves them up to $7,800 per year. We were honest about the 4 lessons they would apply if starting over. We gave you a clear framework for assessing whether early retirement is right for you. And we closed with the 5 non-negotiable rules and an 8-point readiness checklist. If you want to take action right now, I have a free downloadable retirement budget template in the description below. It's built around David and Carol's framework and gives you a starting point to map your own income, expenses, and withdrawal strategy. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps this content reach more people who need it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss episode 5, where we're going to explore how to turn your home into a retirement income machine, covering reverse mortgages, HELOC, house hacking, and the real numbers behind downsizing. Thank you for watching. Take good care of your future self. I'll see you in episode 5.